Bro, if after PoE is released, they don't nominate Path of Exile 2 for the game of the year because it is a live service game or whatever, I will be pissed off. I don't want it to just to be nominated to live service game or ongoing game or whatever. No. Nominate this for game of the year because this is a masterpiece, dude. I have this video here from Force Gaming that is called 2025 is a huge year for ARPGs. You guys, we are playing Path of Exile 2. I also make videos for Diablo 4. I have played Last Epoch. We play RPGs. Let's see what he has to say in here. There is another ARPG that I am excited that is coming out that is called Tyrant Quest 2. I want to play Tyrant Quest 2. I think he's going to talk about that one. So let's you see what he has to say about it, dude.
Hey everyone, welcome back. So 2025, it's shaping up to be quite a big year if you're an ARPG fan. As you certainly know by now, Path of Exile 2 has been trucking along. Following its early access release in December, the game essentially consumed my life for about a month straight. I mean, I had a good time, don't get me wrong, but boy, was that an experience. It was like tripping into a black hole of mapping. Holy crap. Yeah, I mean, just like fantastic game already, and it's not even 50% complete in terms of all the additional content, classes, and systems in the works, and that are planned to release over the course of this next 12 months, which frankly just blows my mind. Like, the game has already managed to consume 300 plus hours of my time, and it's not even as good as it's going to be. Holy hell. So yeah, like, we got some big updates on the horizon for PoE 2 as they introduce.
By the way, I am a little bit pissed off at PoE 2 right now because we don't know when the new patch is coming. In fact, I think that they are doing the whole PoE 1 event, not because and I am thinking about making a video about this thing. Maybe I will do it tomorrow. That they are releasing the PoE 1 event, not because people complained about no content in PoE 1, but because they don't have content for PoE 2 either. So they said, you know what? Let's give them something in PoE 1 so they forget that we don't have anything ready for PoE 2. That is my theory. So I am pissed off because I want the Druid and the Huntress for PoE 2, motherfucker. Yes. Dude, over 60% of you are not subscribed. Why? Why are you like that? Just click the button, dude. It is quick, it is easy, it is free. You get content, I get a sub, win-win situation. Just click the sub button, dude.
These 6 additional classes, their corresponding weapon skill gems, many more support gems, 3 more campaign acts, and who knows how many more league mechanics in addition to the existing mapping system with its bossing, breaches, expedition, and delirium. Now, we already know they plan on running multiple leagues, otherwise referred to as seasons, throughout the course of early access. These will happen alongside any major content updates they release, and while we don't have the exact specifics as of yet, the current speculation is that the first league will include the addition of one or both the Druid and Huntress classes, as these are the 2 that we've been told are the furthest in development currently. Beyond that, we expect
it is not that we have been told this. We already saw them. Creep play the Huntress. You can go and write on YouTube right now. Creep Huntress. In fact, brother, I am not talking shit. I will just show it. I will just show it. We open here another tab. We go. Creep Huntress PoE 2. Creep plays PoE 2 for the first time. There is the Huntress. There is Creep playing the Huntress. By the way, you can see that he was doing Act 2 in the Hyena boss. And when he played, there was still 5 flasks. So the game has changed after this. We don't know if the Huntress will play the same way because the game has changed. But what we don't know is that the Huntress exists. It has been in development for a while. Because you have it.
Seemed to be a pretty effective move.
You can throw your spear for a lightning attack or whatever bullshit that is. So yes, we already know that. And the Druid, there is another video released by GGG where it's the same shit, but with the Druid. So this is true.
Likely at least one additional mechanic to come in the first league, and maybe an expansion of the campaign, ? Although frankly, I wouldn't be too surprised if they actually save the last 3 acts for the game's full 1.0 release, and then keep the early access updates to just class and mechanics editions. But we don't know really one way or the other. I'm sure we will be learning sometime soon in the coming months. But yeah, I mean, even if you just played Path of Exile 2, 2025 would be like a solid year straight of ARPG fun. But there's actually quite a bit more. So Last Epoch recently revealed their plans for season 2, which comes with a bunch of new content aimed
April, I believe it is April 2, by the way. Last Epoch can't catch a break, man. Because the end of the season, like we have the PoE event right now, right? Like the 20th, next week. The PoE 1 event finishes March 23rd or something like that. I believe that GGG are planning to release the PoE 2 patch after that, which would mean early April. When is the thing for PoE for Last Epoch coming? Early April. If the PoE patch releases at the same time, people are going to play PoE 2, brother. It is like Last Epoch can't catch a break. And I want to play the new Last Epoch thing because I like Last Epoch. I think Last Epoch is an awesome game. But if I have to choose between PoE 2 or Last Epoch, I will choose PoE 2 10 out of 10 times soon.
Aimed at addressing the greatest areas of feedback, those being expanding endgame, a better new player experience, and improved dungeons, performance, and balance. The TLDR of these changes include Monolith of Fate upgrades, this being the primary endgame system, similar to mapping in PoE. They'll be introducing a host of new echo objectives, new enemies, and reworks to old objective types to provide some more variety while going through the echoes. There's going to be the new Weaver faction, which will let you augment your Monolith timelines during endgame progression. This faction is separate from both the Circle of Fortune and Merchants Guild and will be available to all players regardless of which one of those you chose. There will be dungeon improvements with many community requested features and an enhanced new player experience to make dungeons more accessible. They're also adding tombs and cemeteries as this all new side zone randomly encountered within Monolith Echoes. This is meant to bring just some additional variety and unique experiences while you're going through mapping. There's going to be an overhaul to the Sentinel class with a large number of changes to its passive trees and skills. There are champion enemies, which are a higher tier, more formidable class of rares, and this increased challenge will also come with greater rewards. There's going to be some endgame crafting additions with all new options for refining items, new endgame bosses as they're adding more variety to Last Epoch's current pinnacle fight of Aberoth, and then a bunch of smaller improvements which include bug fixes, improved performance, UI improvements, quality of life features, changes to keys and other item storage, new uniques, improved sounds for a lot of skills, improvements to controller functionality with a new targeting system, and quite a bit more. Yeah, season 2 is looking like quite a substantial update. Seems like Last Epoch might be worth a revisit this year. Currently scheduled to release 2 months from now at some point in April. And then apparently
again, if PoE 2 releases the shit at the same time, bro, the people whisper that is underpriced because people whisper me for that shit all the time. Where is it? There it is. I will put it, I don't know, 25. Again, Last Epoch, like, it is in a weird spot because if PoE 2 releases the patch at the same time, it will be offered for Last Epoch. And I feel like they said, we are going to release in April because we want to be away from all this shit. We don't want them to release anything at the same time that we are going to do it, so let's put it in April. There is no way they release something in April. And now the likelihood is high. It is like they try to avoid it and they can't do it, brother. They can't catch a break, bro.
Diablo 4 has a new season. I completely missed this news. Just went by.
Because it is Diablo 4. The season is good. I told you guys, it is probably the best season yet in Diablo 4. But it is Diablo 4. That is a problem.
A little preoccupied around that window, but yes, there's a new Diablo 4 season of Witchcraft currently underway, having begun on January 21st. With this, there's a new story questline, some seasonal witch-themed powers like summoning fire bats and poison frogs. They just gave everyone witch doctor abilities, apparently. There's an armory system, which this actually seems pretty cool. It gives you the ability to save and quickly swap between multiple builds, and then the typical assortment of new seasonal cosmetics, emotes, and all of that stuff, enticing you to try to buy the premium edition of the season pass and skip some levels if you don't have enough time to grind. Oh joy. I mean, look,
brother, basically if you buy a boost in Diablo, you are an idiot because you level up in 2 hours. Like, what are you doing, dude?
To be frank here,
but I believe they have a free boost. I took a free boost for a character. Like, you don't have to pay for a boost, as far as I know.
Diablo 4 seasons have just really not been enticing enough to get me to revisit the game. I think since the game's release, I've come back for 1, if not 2 seasons in total. Although I did quite enjoy playing the first expansion, Vessel of Hatred. I liked its new class, getting to see that entirely new zone, and the new content, in particular that co-op group Citadel. I thought that was a lot of fun, at least for the first couple of times. But for me, the whole thing only ended up lasting like a little over a week's worth of playtime before I had my fill, which, you know, I was kind of hoping for a bit more out of, what was it, like a $50 paid expansion or somewhere in that ballpark. Now, beyond them continuing to get their quarterly seasonal updates, that's going to keep happening. We also expect an entirely new expansion this year, assuming that they deliver on what was their previously.
They went back. In fact, I don't know if this video was released before that, but like yesterday or 2 days ago, Rod Ferguson did like a speech in an event, and he went back on. He had said previously that D4 was going to have yearly expansions. Some people took it in a bad way because they are too greedy. They want to charge us from for expansion every year, and some people like me took it the good way, which is, oh, cool, we are going to get new content, probably new classes, new zones, new areas in the world map every year. Cool. Well, he just went back on that, and he said that the new expansion is not coming out this year, but next year in 2026. He just outright said it. He didn't give a theme. He didn't say what was going to happen. He didn't say what is the actual date. He just said it is going to be 2026, and that this year, probably in April or when the new season releases after season 7, season 8, they are going to release a roadmap showing what they are going to do with the game. I hope that we see cool stuff in that roadmap that takes the game to a good spot, dude.
Stated goal of releasing 1 expansion every year. Now, I'm not sure how likely this is to happen, as, you know, we're a couple months into the year and we still haven't heard anything yet. Presumably, if it were coming out this year, it'd be some point between October and December. So I guess maybe they still have time to announce it. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of this is going to come down to the finances of just like how much money is Diablo 4 generating for Blizzard and Microsoft. And it's kind of hard to know from the outside. Like, certainly the hype has died down in terms of internet interest and viewership around this game, but that doesn't mean that people aren't still playing and spending money on all of the seasonal content and cosmetics and all that stuff. I mean, for all I know, the game could be earning loads of cash from the console audience alone, right? It's just hard to say. Like, all the time you see games that online are touted as completely dead, forget about it, it's in the grave, but they're still raking in cash for their publisher. I think like Elder Scrolls Online is a great example that comes to mind. That game is consistently a top earner for ZeniMax, but if you ask Reddit or Twitter or wherever online, they would say that game's been dead for years, but it's raking in millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars a year. So yeah, again, I
don't even know someone that plays that fucking game, but apparently there is a lot of people playing it because the game makes money, dude. It is weird.
Hard to say. We will see if Diablo 4 does in fact get its second expansion this fall. I'm not going to hold my breath, but whenever it comes out, I hope there's enough new interesting content that my revisit lasts more than just a week, as was the case with Vessel of Hatred. And then there's also Grim Dawn. The 2016 ARPG has its...
I know nothing about Grim Dawn, so I will just let him say stuff because I know nothing about Grim Dawn.
Long-awaited and highly anticipated expansion actually planned for this year.
You play it, Hot Chief. You play Elder Scrolls Online. Is it good? Is it worth playing? The thing is that I never got into Elder Scrolls. I never played Elder Scrolls in my life. Not a single one of them, dude.
Fangs of Asterkarn comes with a whole bunch of new content and features. There's the Ascendant game mode, a 10th mastery, a brand new chapter, option customization, affix transmutation, expansion of the Crucible, hundreds of new items, epic awakenings, and 2 brand new factions. Now, this update was actually originally revealed back in August 2023, so it's been a hot minute. While it has taken a while, I know there are quite a few people looking forward to its release, which as of now is expected to finally happen sometime this year. Beyond all of that, like all of these games that we know are
Dude, it's fucking incredible. Wow. How do you best MMO on the market? So you think it clears WoW, it clears Final Fantasy, and all of that shit? I don't even know how it looks, brother. I don't even know how it looks, to be honest with you.
Currently available and are getting big updates and or expansions in 2025. There's also a handful of brand new ARPGs scheduled to release this year, all of which I'm interested in at least checking out. So first up on that list is Dragonkin the Banished. This is being developed by Echo Software, who previously have made a few top-down action games, including How to Survive and Warhammer Chaosbane. Now, with this new game, they appear to finally be creating something that's going to be a bit more familiar to any Diablo or Path of Exile fans out there, of which I'm assuming those are the people watching a video about ARPGs in 2025. This new game looks to be a traditional hack and slash ARPG loot grinding game. They say that Dragonkin is built on 3 main pillars. The first is this fantasy setting with a world and mythology based and centered around dragons. Second is theory crafting that is going to be both accessible but also deep. And then third, they're having several layers of power and character progression for players to spend their time working towards. So the game's campaign is going to have you traverse.
They didn't say endgame, which is the other thing that you want in an ARPG. You want to build your character, you want customization, you want the ARPG, you want the world and the story and the immersion, and you want the end game to last, the pinnacle content. So they didn't say that, but okay, it can still be good, and the graphics are complete. Hey, this is a Titan Quest 2.
Jungles, ancient islands, toxic swamp.
I played WoW for like 8 years. As of now, yes, it's way more enjoyable than WoW. Okay. So it does have like that endgame content like WoW where you do a lot of stuff. Because I like WoW because you do raiding and Mythic Plus. I couldn't get into Final Fantasy 14. Me either. I have never played it. But I talk about like if you compare it, is it better or not? You are saying that yes, I have never played 14 either. Bro, I envy the person that gets to experience ESO for the first time. It's so good. Brother, you are making me want to try it. I will see how much that bullshit is. And if at some point in the year I have nothing to do with ARPGs or bullshit, because I don't have much time, I will probably try it. What I will do 100% is check the price and watch videos about it to see if I like it, Endgame is solid as fuck. Okay, you are making me want to try it, dude.
Vast plains, and many more varieties of settings. Each region is not only going to have its own culture of NPCs that you'll interact with and get stories from, but also enemy monster families, boss horses, and loot to collect. The game is going to be utilizing procedural level structure along with dynamic world events and elements, including rain, fog, and storms, all of which will vary the look, layout, and presentation from one run to the next. For its early access release, you're going to have the choice of 3 playable character classes: the Barbarian, a strength-based character who combines ice powers with legendary rage. The Oracle, who uses electric draconic powers, unleashing precise heavy-hitting strikes. And the Knight, wielding a lance with an array of fire-based skills and abilities. There is also a 4th character currently in development that will be announced at some later date. So each hero is going to have their own unique abilities and combat techniques as a baseline, which you can then further enhance by your equipment, the Wormling Companion, and the Ancestral Grid. And this is all part of the power progression. So while you're playing, you're going to be collecting plenty of randomized loot with different stats, complex itemization, active and passive skills. There's also going to be a crafting system for making and fine-tuning your own gear. You've got the Wormling, a companion who follows you around, but also acts as kind of like a specialization for your character, allowing you to launch a host of different conditional effects on top of your baseline abilities. And then, probably most interestingly of all, is what they're calling the Ancestral Grid, of which they say, our aim is to make skills a part of the game's itemization as well. So basically, no matter the class you pick, you're going to be building your own skill tree, collecting fragments in combat or as rewards that you then place into this grid in whatever manner and fashion you like, combining different active skills, passives, and modifiers for all of this. The grid only has so much space in it, in which you're going to have to strategically place your pieces, optimizing each position to tailor for whatever your preferred playstyle is. Each hero is going to have their own grid with a massive number of potential combinations and abilities abilities and modifiers. This again seems like an interesting way to approach skill customization and modification. We'll be curious to see how it plays out. There's also this entire system of city building. When discussing this, the studio said, "We felt it was important to make the world evolve with the hero's progression, but also to enhance the multiplayer experience and the creation of multiple characters. With this in mind, our heroes evolve in a large city, the city of Montascale." So this is a city that is going to develop and will be customized by you as you progress through the campaign and go through the game's end game. There's going to be craftsmen and servicemen for selling items, making gear, and acquiring different quests. And then with time, you're going to unlock new services as well as improving existing ones. To coincide with this, there will be visual changes to the actual city, and this is going to be a central location for the game's upcoming multiplayer, as well as for any alts that you make, as they're going to be able to visit that same city that you built up on previous characters and benefit from any bonuses and services that you previously unlocked. So when the game launches into early access, it is going to initially just be single player with offline mode available and no required internet connection. Thumbs up there. Cool. And then during early access, they will be implementing multiplayer, letting you play through the game with friends, eventually adding couch co-op, which is going to be planned to come in the full 1.0 release. I mean, overall, I think this looks and sounds pretty neat. I was bummed to learn that the multiplayer isn't going to be there right away, especially considering if my previous experience with ARPGs is any indication. Normally, it is the slower pacing of the campaign playthrough that I find best for co-op, while with most ARPGs, once we get to endgame, I tend to really mostly play alone, partially because with the increased speed and massive amounts of screen clearing effects, most ARPGs, they feel better to play solo come endgame. Otherwise, there's way too much going on. I just like Diablo 4 and Path of Exile 2 as...
How the fuck did I die? I got overconfident because I was blasting everything and I have a bunch of broken artifacts in the floor. Fuck! I grew confident because I just destroyed everything, dude. What? Expedition is rip, dude. Expedition always fuck you in the ass, dude. It is easier to die to Expedition than to a breach or a ritual, in my experience.
Prime examples. I played with friends through the campaign. Everything was slower paced. There was less effects, less stuff going on. When we got to endgame, even just adding one other player, my eyes start bleeding. There's just too much happening on screen. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case in this game, but point being, it would have been nice for multiplayer to be there for when we're experiencing the campaign, because I feel like that's when I'm most likely to be using it. But whatever, we'll see what happens. I digress. So Dragonkin is actually coming pretty soon, scheduled to release on March the 6th, coming first once more to early access via PC, and then they're going to have an Xbox and PS5 version planned for later on, presumably for the full 1.0 release. Another new ARPG launching this year is Titan Quest 2. This one, a long time coming.
I am really excited for that one, guys, because I love Greek mythology. When I was a kid, I went through the campaign in Age of Mythology like 20,000 times because I loved it, dude. It was really, really fucking cool. I really want to play this game just because of it. Even if it doesn't have an end game, even if you just go through the campaign and that's it, I want to play Titan Quest just because it is, you can be a Greek warrior in the Greek mythology in an ARPG. That is good enough for me. I want to try it. And if on top of that, it's a really cool game with depth as PoE2 and with endgame and all of that, oh, that will be awesome for me. I hope it is good because I love that theme, dude.
Coming, the original game released back in 2006, and while it never really
no, I haven't played Titan Quest 1.
broke into the mainstream, it did absolutely find a small but passionate following. Last time I checked, lifetime sales of the original Titan Quest broke just over 1 million, which certainly isn't that's not bad, right? That's not bad for an ARPG that maybe a lot of you hadn't even heard of. I think probably one of the biggest standouts of this series is the setting. So rather than being in like the standard medieval inspired fantasy that most ARPGs take place in, Titan Quest takes place in a world inspired by the tales and mythology of classic ancient Greece, pitting you against its legendary monsters, gods, and fables. We'll set out on an adventure traveling through picturesque beaches, serene Greek temples, and the mysterious realms of the gods, while fighting an array of classic and invented creatures inspired from Greek mythology, including centaurs, satyrs, harpies, sirens, griffins, and more. Now, unlike a lot of ARPGs where you're blasting through the levels as quickly as possible, this game is asking you to slow it down. The campaign and the world is is really
like
designed with exploration in mind. They're going to have you pay close attention to your surroundings because you've got things like bosses lurking off of beaten paths and hidden groves, or treasures tucked behind puzzles and secret levers, and many other mysteries for you to uncover that you're just not going to see if you're simply sprinting from point A to B. And going along with this is the fact that the world, rather than being procedural, is entirely handcrafted. Every level, enemy encounter, boss arena, and treasure was particularly placed by the developers. They're also leaning heavily into the use of vertical space as you will be traversing up the sides of mountains.
Yes, bro, that Titan game looks awesome. You are like a hoplite or a hoplite. I don't know how you pronounce that shit in English. But you are a Greek warrior, dude. You are like Achilles. You are fucking Achilles in that game, dude. It is fucking awesome, bro.
Mountains, down into dark dungeons, and along the edges of ruins and other points of interest. This actually reminds me quite a lot of No Rest for the Wicked, which I quite enjoyed how they made use of verticality in that game. Hopefully they do it to a similar extent in Titan Quest 2. As for combat, beyond your basic attacks and whatever skills you have, they've got the additional defensive layers with dodging, parries, and counterattacks, and they're also promising deep customization and plenty of systems that ensure a lot of replayability. You'll get to form your own class by combining two masteries together, building around the strengths and weaknesses of each, and exploring different potential combinations of skill modifiers, attributes, and items to create your very own hybrid. And then while in combat, they say that enemies are going to be forming into factions, grouping and working together, combining their different skills and abilities in ways that keep you on your toes throughout each playthrough. And
I saw a video about that. It is that you have to be like the mobs actually work together. Like there is a mob that tanks, and there is some of that cast spells from afar, and you have to see like, oh, I have to kill the dude that is in the back or whatever, and the other mob helps this mob. Like there are factions and they help each other. It is something cool that is going to be in that game, dude.
Yeah, I mean, this all looks and sounds neat. The game definitely does appear to be a slower paced ARPG, from its combat to the focus on exploration and the handcrafted levels. But I really do like the look of this. I mean, sure, yeah, I will certainly admit that combat from what we've seen here does not look nearly as impactful as, for example, Path of Exile 2 or even Diablo 4. But everything else about it, from its fairly unique setting, for the genre at least, to its enemies, and the fact that it is all handcrafted and exploration centric, I'm hopeful that this one clicks for me and I enjoy it. Titan Quest 2 is scheduled for an early access launch in early 2025. The last official messaging on this said that it will be coming out sometime this winter, which technically ends in late March, so we'll see if they meet that previously projected deadline. All right, next up, we've got Project Pantheon. This is set in a post-apocalyptic dark fantasy world that's said to be a mixture of extraction and hack and slash ARPG genres. So take the gameplay of, say, Path of Exile, place it into the extraction framework. That is fundamentally...
Oh, this is the game that the people that made Wolsen are doing. I know what this is. I don't know if you guys know, but several years ago there was an ARPG that tried to be close to PoE that was called Wolsen, and it sucked. And now the same company that made that game are going to make this game that is an ARPG, but it is PvP and it is extraction based like Tarkov. So I like PvP, so this has the potential to be good. I hope it is good. The more games that are cool, the best for me, bro. That is my opinion.
What we're looking at here. Each run, you're going to be headed into a hidden fortress to venture through diverse maps, completing objectives, fighting enemy NPCs, other...
That ball dude looks so badass. That was something cool that Wolsen had. The graphics were cool, and the world building was also cool. The characters were badass. That is true. The characters in Wolsen were badass for sure.
Players securing loot and trying to escape alive. Couple of notes from the game's Steam page. They say explore challenging maps, tackle quests, and loot unique gear. Enjoy balanced PvP and PvE with fair rules and strong anti-cheat. You'll be able to upgrade your base, customizable loadouts, and gear up for battle in between runs, choosing from maps with unique objectives and treasures, but the stakes are high because death means losing everything. Only successful extractions secure rewards, which can then be traded with other players. Lastly, they say that they're committed to a community-driven development development will be actively listening to feedback, with closed alpha testers playing a crucial role in refining the game and shaping its future.
Okay, that sounds
Speaking
good.
of which, they recently held the first closed alpha test. This took place last weekend. While this has since passed, it's not available right now. They plan on running many other future testing periods through the coming months up until a planned early access release for some point later in the year. Now, I will say one massive asterisk that's slapped onto the end of my interest in Project Pantheon is the fact that this is the follow-up to Vulcan Lords of Mayhem. If you don't recall, this is an ARPG that came out a few years ago and didn't quite stick the landing. I mean, I had some fun with the game when it first launched in 2020. I recall enjoying the combat well enough and having a decent time playing through the campaign. All told, I got about 50 hours of playtime according to Steam here. But beyond that, I mean, yeah, the game kind of fell flat, bearing this out both in the lifetime and recent user ratings of roughly 50% or a mixed score. Now, just because their last game...
Yo, Kali! Hey, thank you very much. Yes, brother. This is my record, dude. This is the first time I have ever streamed 4 days in a row, dude. Like, this is a record for me. I feel awesome. I feel like, dude, I am putting in the work in here, dude. 4 days in a row. This is insane for me, dude. Thank you very much for stopping by the way.
Didn't pop off doesn't mean that this one can't potentially be good, but just be aware this is the same studio that made Vulcan. Nevertheless, hoping, fingers crossed, that Project Pantheon turns out well. Okay, so there you have it. ARPGs in 2025. To recap, we got PoE 2 trucking through early access, and we expect a new league sometime in the coming months, which will most likely include at least one new playable character class and likely some new seasonal mechanics. Last Epoch is getting its second season coming out in April with quite a few new changes and improvements. Definitely going to jump back into this one. Of course, Diablo 4 is expected to get multiple new seasons. I would assume at least 2 more throughout the year. And again, they originally stated wanting a full expansion release every year. So maybe that happens. Who knows? Grim Dawn should be getting its long-awaited next major update. And then we've got those 3 entirely new ARPGs with Dragonkin, Titan Quest 2, and Project Pantheon. Hoping at least one of these ends up delivering. Definitely some potential there, and I'm looking forward to trying them out. Yeah, I mean, I would say if you are a fan of the ARPG genre, this is looking like a pretty solid year. I mean, PoE 2 alone, right? Let's be honest. PoE 2 alone is going to carry the year for many who like ARPGs.
100%. Bro, if after PoE is released, they don't nominate Path of Exile 2 for the game of the year because it is a live service game or whatever, I will be pissed off. I don't want it to just to be nominated to live service game or ongoing game or whatever. No. Nominate this shit for game of the year because this is a fucking masterpiece, dude. After it is released, of course. Now, from the things he mentioned in here and for the year in general for ARPGs, in my opinion, what I am most excited for, of course, every PoE 2 related thing. I know for a fact that next patch is going to release the Hunters and the Druid. Really excited for that. I am excited for the Last Epoch stuff. I am excited for Titan Quest 2. And I am still on Copium, guys, with D4. Now that they say they are going to release a roadmap, I am excited for that roadmap. I want to see what they are going to say in that roadmap for D4. Yes, I am still on the Copium that the game can be good someday. And we will be able to play D4 too. So those are the things that he said in here that I am excited for. PoE 2, Last Epoch, Titan Quest 2, and still Huffing Copium with D4. What do you guys think about all of this? I think it was an awesome video. I didn't know much about the Dragon King thing that looks cool. And I had heard about the Wolsen extraction thing, but I didn't know much about it either. But yes, the year is looking good for ARPG. Thank you, Force Gamer, for the video, my dude. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I a genius? Am I a clown? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. I love reading comments, even when they don't agree with me. Also, remember to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, all that cool stuff. Guys, thanks for being here. You guys are fucking awesome. God bless ya. And remember, don't be afraid ever because this is just a ride.